Max? Who is he? Why is he mad? And is this game any good? Those questions and many more may be explained in this video as we explore and retell Mad Max, the game. But like many great stories, it's gotta start somewhere. We're started off with a cutscene right off the bat. This discusses how humanity has truly fallen to its knees and how the survivors are truly broken. Here we are in the title screen. Let's go ahead and play, shall we? Alright. There's no audio. Wait, what the fuck? We're all driving invisible machines. I can't hear shit. Holy shit. Wow, he slammed into air. Continuing from that mess, the game showcases War Boys chasing down Mad Max himself. Max is driving his infamous car, the Interceptor, showcased in both the first and the second movie. After absolutely violating the War Boys, we learn that Max is indeed truly a broken survivor, roaming the wasteland forever, fighting his demons and dealing with being the only survivor out of his dead family. He's become a husk of himself, often described as cold and brooding, reluctant to help others unless he gained something from it, or he had to. From watching the trilogy, it is told that Max is searching for a place called the Plains of Silence. Max believes that the Plains of Silence holds the key to escaping this hellhole. It's easy to mistaken Max as a badass man swinging lefts and rights, but in the end, he just wants to be left alone. Max has prepared for the Plains of Silence. He has the car, the weapons, and the fortitude, but he needs one thing: gas. Gas is far and few between in this world, but where else to look except for the giant city that has gas in its name? Gas Town. That is, until Max is ambushed by War Boys, where they successfully drag him out of his car, beating his ass before this big rig shows up. Lord Scrotus, or Scabrous or whatever, the big bad villain of this game, and he knocks the shit out of Max before stealing his car and his clothes and bloody everything, before driving away, leaving him stranded. Of course, Max wouldn't let this slide. I wouldn't either. And so he climbs aboard and challenges the man himself, starting an all-out brawl, and there was this dog, they got absolutely thrashed. This happens, then boom, logo. Max wakes up finding a dog from earlier and a newfound shotgun to sling onto his waist. Upon gaming, it's noticed how you are low on health, and the objective is to find water. Now, the health mechanic works the same like any other game, really, except it revolves around water. If you're low on health, take a swig of your canteen and you're all good to go. Oh, fuck. Upon running up to the approximate location of where the dog was hurt, I guess, we discovered this thing. Why is everyone silent? Are you serious? Why is everyone silent? This is Chumbucket, a wasteland mechanic, and right now he's speaking in tongues for me because this game is weird on PC and there's no audio. So I don't really know what he's saying right here, but Chumbucket believes that Max is some giant prophet sent to him by the combustion gods themselves. Look at him. I'd believe in whack shit too if I was built like this. But Max lets him go, saying that the dog is hurt. But Chumbucket says he does well in his sanctum to take care of him, and he'll take him there. But first, he'll show us where they took the Interceptor. Max's car is called the Black on Black in this game, and also the Interceptor, but it's also called the Interceptor in the movies. So if I go between the two, they're the same thing, really. Chum, using his buggy, takes us to the Interceptor, and we scout out the camp where Chum convinces Max that he'll build him a new car, a bigger and better car than the Black on Black ever was. It'll be faster than fear, tougher than an iguana's glands, as he said, and he tells us that our new ride is hidden inside this hideout, an old cargo shipwreck that Chum has been living, as seen by his bed and other stuff, I guess. He leads Max to Magnum Opus, as he calls it, which is the car that you'll be using throughout the game, upgrading it to make the greatest machine that ever lived by using scrap, the in-game currency that you find throughout the wasteland. But obviously, it's nowhere close to that level of awesomeness, I guess, as it's just a frame right now. But baby steps, of course, baby steps. Greatness takes time, and so we need our first part, a body, because she's naked. Chum knows a place because he knows everything in this game. Wow, he must really get around in the game. You get to pick and choose which car body you'll be using. You can find all the body parts later in the game, but for now I went with the shovel face, but this brings attention to us, and so we fight him off. Speaking of fighting, let's talk about the fighting mechanics. Fighting in this game has light punches and heavy punches. Light hits can be used repetitively, whilst heavy hits are much stronger attacks. Max's shotgun is another way to kill enemies, one-shotting majority of the enemies in the game. If you're bored of the regular attacks, don't worry. Upgrades can be purchased to gain new skills, guns, and gear. Max has a very useful tool at his exposure later on, and that's the Fury mechanic. You see, when Max gets, well, mad, I guess, I'm pretty sure that all of his light attacks turn to heavy attacks, and all of his heavy attacks turn into massive ones, I guess. We make it out, escape off this ledge, and make it back to Chum's hideout, where we get our first weapon for the Magnum Opus, the harpoon. Insanely useful, as you can rip off enemy car parts, as well as gates and other things. The game wants you to destroy things like scarecrows that Scrotus has put up to put fear into people. Destroying these lowers the location's danger level, allowing you to get new equipment that was previously locked for the Magnum Opus, or to upgrade Max's gear. Another way to bring down the danger is by taking out camps like this one in Chumbucket's area, the one we saw on the ledge. There's different kinds of camps. This one revolves around destroying oil pumps, some revolve around destroying tankers, so they're not always the same. Destroying these usually gives you some scrap as you progress through them, and you can collect history relics like this one belonging to Max himself. History relics in this game give an insight to not only other people's experiences with the fallout of humanity, but also Max's, showing his wife and daughter. And for Mad Max's photo, he contemplates about whether he will return to his family, or that if his family will ever return to him. This photo motivates Max to find peace in this weird place, to find something, anything that can save him from this hellhole, the plains of silence perhaps. But we carry on anyways, finding a dude with the biggest backpack ever. But he's very vague to Max, except he urges Max to find him as he walks away. The game tells us to meet up with the mysterious wastelander, otherwise known as Griffer. He offers an insight into who Max is as a person, as he only cares about Max. In game, you can use them to upgrade your abilities, ranging from your health to using less gasoline when driving. Slowly, after each interaction, Max gains a bit of his sanity back, slowly seeing him as a friend. But I reckon that Griffer is a figment of Max's own imagination and who Max wants to be, and by reflecting with himself, he grows stronger mentally and physically. He also looks like the gyro captain in the movies, but I'll carry on. We continue the story back at Chum's den, discussing about why the car is so shit before Max and Chum are ambushed. Shit's flying, fires everywhere, and we're homeless now. Don't worry, we follow the nice individuals back to our hideout to discover that the man behind it was Stank Gum. Leatherface here is one of Scrotus's favorite warriors, doing his bidding, a glazer. You don't see him much except for when there's altercations, okay? But with our home destroyed, we need a new place to hang out. And that's where Chum says that Jeet's stronghold is available, but he doesn't sound all convincing if he's unsure if he'll kill us or not. Skipping to the stronghold, we meet Jeet, the leader of the castle. Despite him being insanely cocky and whatnot, he used to be feared among these lands, before Scrotus came along, dwindling their numbers. Because of this, we convinced him to let us inside to discuss things more. Strongholds like this one and others all function the same. They all have their own side missions, and you can help rebuild them into the glorious places they deserve to be, like finding survey parts, which help you with like getting free food or water. And in an upgrade, they can work whilst you're offline and give you scrap when you come back. This doesn't work anymore, unfortunately, but you can donate them scrap. This doesn't really do anything, so don't donate. The deal that we made with Jeet is that if we weaken Scrotus's grip on his land, we have to stay and use his tools. And after telling Jeet our plan to go over to Gastown, Jeet politely tells Max that if he wants to get to Gastown, he needs to get through the jaw, a giant jaw-looking gate separating the lower part of the map with the higher part of the map. It's almost like hard mode, similar to Terraria in a way. You get a sniper from Jeet and go scout out Dead Baron's jaw. Discovering that we are still driving a shitbox, the game wants us to complete an Archangel, one of Chum's many ideas for what the magnum opus should be, that being the Jag. He believes that, this should get us past safely. Jeet has a side mission, as I explained before, and Jeet's side missions are very useful in the long run. Jeet has a problem. He's low on ammo for his group, and he wants us to go rescue a man named Blastcap that knows how to make gunpowder, so he can start producing a constant supply of ammo to fend off Scrotus and his war boys. And he promises Max that if he does so, he'll give him free ammo. Blastcap is in some random cave, really. Basically go dig him out and he return to Jeet. But now that we have the dude with the knowledge of the gunpowder, we need the materials, sulfur and saltpeter. Go to each location and mark him out for Jeet. Completing this, you get free ammo, yay type shit. You later clear up a pathway to deliver ammo to other strongholds, but nobody really cares. Hey, you remember the dog from before? Think he'd die? If you look closely, he wasn't in the car as we left the Inferno back in the shipwreck. Surprisingly, going back, he's alive. Somehow, Max uses him for discovering landmines across the world, which isn't, great, but it's somewhat fun in my opinion. Talking with Jeet explains that Gutgash, another stronghold out there, can help us in finishing our build with the Jack. This stronghold takes place in a shipwreck. The whole thing about this place is that the people inside believe that the water will return to the wasteland, and they'll be taken away in the waves of the ocean, or whatever they believe in, because half the ship is gone. But Max drives to the ship, seemingly abandoned, until the gates slam down, and they jump out of their hidey holes. Gutgash comes out recognizing Chumbucket, since he insults him for quite a bit, but eventually we make a deal with Gutgash. The same dealio with Jeet, I believe. Gutgash has his own side missions, involving grabbing new pristine metal and a billboard to lift everyone's spirits. I didn't record any of that, So sorry, because I thought, oh, side missions, they're for the side. They don't matter. They do. A little bit, because they're interesting. But upon bolting up the stairs to talk with Gut Gash, Max is stopped by a woman in a cage, named Hope, requesting for a fan for a sick child. Glory. Have you heard of a Sigma? We Sigmas don't ever pay attention to voids. What does voids even mean? Probably something nice and spirit lifting. After reaching up to Gut Gash, he discovers about the jaw's weakness, the hinges of the gate, saying that the harpoon of ours needs some upgrades before taking it on. Gut Gash knows a man that holds such an item for us to borrow. Dimrim and his convoy. Convoys, like the one we're about to take on, are all over the place, typically delivering oil or fuel to other camps and such. These convoys hold powerful artifacts that hold a strange, mystical power, or as Chumbucket somewhat puts it every time I come close to one, so it's in our best interest to grab this piece. After expertly acquiring it, Max delivers it to Cheat, since Gut Gash said Cheat can do something with it. He discovers that the Jag tip needs some black magic, as he puts it, and this... what was it again? Right. Allows us to hunt the Thunderpoon upgrade. Think of it like a rocket launcher. Now with all the upgrades we need under our belt, we can get started with this whole thing. You know what? Past me, take it away. So he's fuck off. Oh my god, I got shot in the back. Look at this guy. Nice. Now with the jaw out of the way, I can relax and have some fun playing with camps and myself. Oh shit, storm! Sandstorms, extreme and dangerous, coating the map in a thick layer of sand as it blinds everyone. Giant scraps of metal fly everywhere, damaging both you and your magnum opus. Even the most tankiest builds can fall to these storms, but where there's high risk, there's high reward. These giant crates fly out of nowhere, packed with hundreds of scraps, just for the taking. You can expect that I got exploded after the sandstorm. Anyway, that's cool and all. Let's get back to the story. Pink Lady was the next stronghold to visit, but upon reaching her palace, an old nuclear power plant that she resides in. But something's wrong, very wrong. The same people that burnt down Chumbucket's hideout were out destroying Pink Lady's place. So deciding to defend her stronghold, hoping that she'll let you in and use her shit, you destroy a fleet of raiders before moving on to catapults and destroying those too. Maybe you destroyed the last ones because you don't ever see them again, right? You made them go extinct. Thanks! Future editor here. When I was 100% in this game, during the Legends thingy, you're tasked with destroying catapults around the world. So they use these things twice. Well, just thought you should know. Since the main entrance is blocked, because of obvious reasons, we take a side entrance, climbing up until he reaches the secret entrance. It's Stinkum, and he's politely discussing with Pink Lady, which I'm not gonna say it. You know what this reminds me of? It's like that one Warhammer, like OC. They're in like a wheelchair and they have like a whole army on their bike. Look, it's the lady from before, and it quickly dissolves into one giant brawl. Punches, stabbings, pulling wheelies, all the sorts, before they quickly retreat due to my insane fighting skills. After some fair questions from Pink Lady, because why would Max defend her and her stronghold? You know, they don't even know each other. But she eventually figures that she could use us for her side missions, and lets us inside. Upon entering inside, Chumbucket is hopping and hollering about the big chief appearing in Gastown, a giant V8 that Mad Max believes he needs for his magnum opus, be on par with the Interceptor. But to obtain this engine, you must take on the most dangerous race in Gastown. But let's discuss Pink Lady's missions first. She believes that she cannot stand up to Gastown. Go figure. And she wants to send out her young ones across the Great White. I don't think I've talked about it before, so let me talk about it now. The Great White used to be a giant, vast ocean, but now lays a never-ending desert of salt and rock, unknown to many wastelanders. And she wants to send out a crew of people on some land boat, and they'll float away into the sunset. They're going to die. If we help her, in return, we get a photograph. Yay! Step 1, we need a sail, because we need to propulsionize, or whatever it's called, through the desert. And she points us in the direction of a camp, but this is no other ordinary camp. It feels like it, but it isn't. The start is the same, until you reach the end, where you come face to face with Pig and Sticker, one of the 6 mini paint bosses. These guys are another prized possession of Scrotus, like Stank Gum almost, except they hoard the only cans of paint that are used to color your car. Defeat them, and you'll get the paint. After defeating him, zip line over to the Dipple where the sail is being used as a dew collecting device. All you need is to signal it off and her people will come to collect it. Returning, we get our prize. The prize being a photo relic showing that it's located in a gas station. You don't know where it is, so the game wants you to go around and search for it. But after one Google search later... Okay, my spider tingling nonsense bullshit is telling me there's a little something here, okay? There's a little something here. Now, Pink Eye wants to fucking talk to me. How about I give you a pink eye, you... As we start our next side mission, clashing heads and brainstorming, Pink Lady has an idea as to where you can get food for the boat. A stash hidden in the old world, full of tin cans, more than you could ever imagine. You find it in some buried church. Who cares, right? Now later on in the game, you get to deliver the sail thingy to the Great White, since Pink Lady thinks only Max can do it. So here's a quick compilation of me doing it. Oh, dumbass. Oh shit, we're picking up speed now. Oh, we're leaving him in the dust. Holy shit, we got a whole ass. Why can't I have like a freight train to look after me, mate? Right, bitch in a wheelchair. Why don't you come by next to me? Start, blasting caps. Dude, I am blitzing down the road. Oh my god, I forgot I had that move. Holy shit. Holy fuck. Oh, fuck off. You're just sitting on the road, mate. I don't believe that. Ah! Guys, I got your materials. Help me. Yeah, good luck, mate. Truly, good luck. You're gonna need it. Oh, quick, follow him. Oh, thank fuck, bro. I'm gonna drive that again. But now all this waiting has come to an end. And we're finally entering Gastown, trying to enter the races to get that sweet, sweet V8 and murder Scabrous Scrotus. The dump that they call it wraps around Gastown and is covered in soot and smudge from the unclean burning and refining of their fossil fuels, just so they can power their vehicles. There is one more stronghold left in this game, and that's Deep Fryer's temple that we're just allowed to enter, so that's cool. In this stronghold, Deep Fryer holds his fire sermons in the honor of the sacred flame, which all the cultists believe will burn them all and give them their freedom. So, insane. But it turns out the Scrap Monkey was from Gastown, which Max might not like from his body language, and then he just kind of rambles about his past life. Look, I'm finding it very difficult to understand Scrap Monkey, so that's all you're getting. Anyways, you talk to Deep Fryer. He tells you about the gas that stopped flowing to Deep Fryer's pilot light, in which Max goes down to the bowels of the underbelly to reopen the gas valves. They can't do this because the fire that they wield and the gas in the tunnels will just go kaboom. It's just a giant maze and just flipping valves, but you die slowly in there, so that's kind of cool. Deep Fryer then talks about this guy, okay? His greatest follower turned off the gas so they could safely reach and steal the pilot light beacon, a sacred artifact of the flame people. And we must reclaim this beacon. One thing I didn't expect from this mission was how bloody big this guy was. Like, holy. Now on to what we're here for. The big chief, the V8. But to do that, we need to enter the races and win it. And that's where the Outcrier and his boy toy of sorts comes into play. The Outcrier is the host of the big races, in charge of everything involved with it. After asking him to join the races, he decides that he'll put Max into the race if he pays him a favor. A very dangerous favor, possibly a suicidal favor. He wants Max to go down to the Underdunes to grab him some new lighting since he wants to shine bright as he puts on a show. The Underdunes is an old wrecked airport that holds riches unheard of above the surface amongst the wastelanders, and that's why many go down to seek it, but they never come back out, as it's been overrun by buzzards, a dangerous descendant Russian tribe that lurk out at night to hunt their prey. We travel on through, dodging and swerving out of the way of buzzard traps, set up in place to stop anyone foolish enough to step foot inside. Chumbucket constantly words his regrets about the Underdunes, afraid of all the rumors that's been set before him. But Max doesn't care. He needs light bulbs. He needs them for a shot in the big leagues to win that V8. Buzzards lurk around every corner, and yet are never seen. A sound here, a sound there. They're everywhere. You explore deeper into this Underdunes, finding structures that may never see the light of day again. That is, until you find a giant flashing building covered in bulbs. Surely this has what you need. That is, until you're ambushed. The buzzards finally come out of their hidey holes to, well, murder, I guess. That's what they do. That's what they're good at. After which, you fight them off, rush back to your car, drive out there, and boom! You just broken a world record and actually made it out alive. Back to Gastown with the bulbs in hand, which Outcry was a little surprised that Max even survived. But after making one driver having a foreseen accident, we're now in the races. But we'll need a fighter. Now where can we find a fighter? Outcrier pointed us towards Crow Dazzle. He hosts the races out in the wasteland, but I didn't check him out much when I was playing. There isn't much use to him, in my opinion. Arriving to Crow Dazzle's home, he gives us a fighter, Tenderloin, some insane woman with a ton of debt and just huffs gas all day. But she can't join because she has debt, like I said before. And to get rid of that debt means I have to take part in Crow's race. Look, it's really boring and I absolutely smoked the competition, so let's just skip it and recruit Tenderloin. Finally, it's time for what you've been waiting for, and that's the Gas Town race, where everybody has came and they're doing the exact same animation, where the big chief and the concubine all have one keeper, and that's Stink Gum, the #1 champion of the races. But one man plans to snatch it all from the champ, and that's Mad Max with a 50-pound bomb strapped to the boot of his car. Now let's get this started. Seriously, no joke, this whole race took me about 40 seconds. You're given 7 minutes! I beat it in 40. And the lady in the back kept shouting, "I get to live another day!" Well, I'll take it, as we are now the new #1 champion of this Gas Town race. But there's a twist. Turns out 2 men enter, and 1 man leaves. Which, that's a reference to Mad Max, Beyond the Thunderdome. But now we gotta brawl it out with this lady. Beat ass! Oh, parry! Oh my god, back of the head! That's gonna be illegal, ref! Oh! Fuck you, bitch! Fuck you hitting, yeah? Perfect! Get out of here! Beat her ass! Get her out of my ring, dog! We won again, and we have a very special prize waiting for us. The V8, remember? I'm a Sigma. But a special guest is going to meet us. Who exactly? No clue. I'm watching this with you.
By someone very special, dear to us all, though we fear him, who has conquered death like his father before him, immortal, an Olympian, a godhead!
And it's Scrotus. He's going to congratulate us. Scrotus is obviously unhappy that Max is back. The man that tested his immortality, the man that tried to kill him, is standing before him expecting a reward? Not on his watch. He sparks a multi-stage brawl, fighting in different arenas trying to kill each other, trying to get revenge on each other. Scrotus sends a group of war boys. Max fends them off. This repeats until Stink Gum arrives, shooting a bolt or 2 into Max's chest, and Max is distracted, giving Scrotus enough time to retaliate. And like that, Max has fallen. Literally. He struggles on the verge of death as Hope saves the day and shit. His vision fades in and out as Hope takes him to Big Belly over here, who is an organ doctor. He waddles his little pig hooves, taking Max to his table. Max blacks out as a vision comes to him. It's Stinky Guy, and he's gotten weirdly attractive. He takes him on a trip through his consciousness, showing his fears of creating new friends and family, turning back on his past life and starting anew. The Black and Black appears, a core part as to why he cannot change, and it's been with him through the darkest days of his life. And it's a constant reminder, and here it is, completely unaffecting to Max. Before he wakes up, never letting any of it to sink in. He's awoken by Scab, a once proud war boy turned into a giant blood bag, but nothing is here for Max, and so he leaves for his prize, the V8, hidden deep in the underbelly of Gas Town. On the way there, he runs into Hope, as she wishes Max to help her return a child back to her, but Max wants what he's worked for this entire time, the V8. Hope reluctantly agrees to show Max where the Big Chief is, in Stink Gum's garage, hoping that he'll return to help her with her child. After defeating Stink Gum's goons and refueling the Big Chief, he drives back to Deep Fryer's temple where Chumbucket can swap engines with the Magnum Opus. Mad Max has what he wants now, the V8, and now nothing's stopping him from leaving. Hope's returned for Max, wanting his help to rescue her daughter from the Underdunes, but he refuses, at first. Finally giving in to Hope's request. Hope's child, Glory, is in the Underdunes, like I said, captured by some buzzards, as clearly stated by these bloody symbols. On the drive to the Underdunes, Max talks about replacing Chum with 2 giant gas tanks to cross the plains of silence, without Chumbucket. Chum is obviously hysterical. His combustion angel is going to be ripped away from him. His life's work. He doesn't shut up about this for the next couple minutes. Eventually, after following tire tracks to the Underdune and enter within, we do some parkour, and as we're in an elevator shaft, we hear Chumbucket get spooked and drive the Magnum Opus away. This angers Max as he believes Chumbucket betrayed him, and he's running off with the vehicle, thinking that Chumbucket took it away because he was going to replace them. Soon after, we find out that the buzzards have been using small children to crawl into tight places and to find loot. Thinking that the child is Glory, we fish her out. Is that even our kid? I don't remember the kid being, well, black.
Hey.
Oh, so that isn't Glory. I had a feeling. Something wasn't right about her. I was like, wow, Glory has gone
looking for the child.
crawling around mud and shit. I don't know. Where would you find mud here anyway? After hearing some weird noises and investigating the sound, we find Glory huddled in a fridge. Max hands her the snow globe because she's boring and proceeds to lead her out before being stopped by some giant buzzard. A brawl ensues and we steal their car, driving away all the way back to Deep Fryers, where he eventually returns Glory back to Hope, reuniting them. Though Max can't leave just yet because Chum took his only way out, a magnum opus. So Max is stuck here. He investigates Deep Fryer, demanding to know where Chum went. Deep Fryer resists at first, before Max convinces him, and Deep Fryer explains that Chum was taking the magnum opus back to its birthplace. Max blames this on Deep Fryer and takes his fastest vehicle. Before leaving, he's stopped by Hope and Glory, asking him to stay back with them to start a new life. But he pushes them away, too caught up in his own demons to weigh in their pleases. And so, the final stretch begins. A rage-filled drive back to where it all started, Chum Bucket's hideout. He arrives to his hideout to discover that Chum Bucket is laying on the ground, in pain. His demons slip past him for a moment as he rushes down to his side, perhaps worried about him, even though he betrayed him. But it's not the main course on his plate, as Stank Gum is here to murder and stuff. Before and during the fight, Stank Gum constantly toys with Max as they duke it out, comparing Max and his little group of friends as one giant family. Max is the father, Hope is the mother, Gloria is the child, Dinky Dye is the dog, and Chum Bucket as the weird, creepy uncle. Max pushes this idea away, just like how he pushed Hope and Gloria away. Max is reluctant, or perhaps too afraid to move on from his past life. But after a little hot second, Stank Gum is defeated, and he informs Max that Scrotus is left to kill Hope and Glory, and so he rushes past Stank Gum and all the way back to Deep Fryers. Max returns, but he's far too late, and Scrotus has done his job, killing any kind of future that he could have had with Hope and Glory. He becomes an avatar of vengeance, every act of sabotage, every war party destroyed, a step towards redemption, or perhaps damnation. The magnum opus becomes more than a vehicle. It becomes a symbol of Max himself, assembled from scraps, hammered into a weapon, and forged in a fire. Chum Bucket tends to the car like a prophet, growing ever more obsessed with its spiritual significance. But Max begins to view the car not as salvation, but as a tool, and in the final moments their differences about the magnum opus will burn hotter. He begins to hunt down Lord Scrotus, eliminating all of his escorts before dealing with Scrotus himself, as Hope and Glory urge him to do what he does best, and to kill Lord Scrotus for them. Max believes that this is what they would have wanted, and even if not, it's what he wants. After blowing up the Big Rig's tanks, it crashes and hangs dangerously over an edge. Max plans to ram him off the edge with the magnum opus. Chum Bucket, in desperation, tries to stop Max from abandoning the magnum opus, believing it to be sacred. Max, detached and consumed by grief, rams the magnum opus into the land mover, killing Chum Bucket in the process. This is a moment of true cruelty that underscores how far Max has fallen. But despite sacrificing the magnum opus, Scrotus isn't done. He has one last trick up his sleeve. Max's interceptor, driving it out of the belly of the land mover and onto the land as the truck falls off. Using random thunderpoons on the ground, Max successfully and easily puts an end to Scrotus's joyride as he's flung into the dirt, landing on a metal beam in his chest. Max finally kills him, returning to his original vehicle, and places the picture of his original family as he drives away, to wander aimlessly through the wasteland, believing in his illusions and refusing to come back to humanity. I love this ending. Can't say that everyone else has the same opinion, but I love the fact that Mad Max, after being reunited with the Black on Black, what stuck with him through all of his pain and trouble makes it seem like he relapsed and fell back into the hellhole he was in before any of this. He had a chance to make a better future, but he refused, too caught up in his own anger to just stop and smell the roses. The story isn't perfect, and I'm pulling what I can out of my ass to make this work. The story is the weakest part of this game. Characters show up a few amount of times, and yet already have a strong connection towards Max. He suddenly turns mad nearing the end of the game. It's like jumping into a cold bath of water, right? It's shocking. It should be done throughout the game to keep it consistent, but then he just might turn into a dick, so I don't know. And it felt like there was so much progression with Griffer, just to throw it all away. And I understand how somebody can find that unsatisfying. You know, maybe it's, just him relapsing, whatever. It's sad to think that Mad Max, the video game, could have been so much more. I just wish if we get a second game for Mad Max that he finally ties up loose ends, but with how Furiosa, I can't say it, went, I have no clue really. This game is fun, and I recommend that you play it. It's worth it just for the gameplay. I know I have a heavy bias to this game because I live and breathe nitty-gritty things like Mad Max. I mean, look at me. Mad Max is a heavy inspiration for what I'm making. I love the movies, well, the trilogy, of course. I haven't watched Fury Road in a long time. Nevertheless, Furiosa, I haven't even watched that at all. But with that aside, I hope this video was watchable. It was tough trying a new format, and I hope this turns out great. But the next video I'll make will either be a challenge with GTFO or the same formula with this video on the Metro series. It depends how this goes, really. If you made it this far, please, please leave a comment about what I should pick and what you liked about the video. I'll greatly appreciate it. Criticism is welcome. I need it, please. But I hope you had fun with this because I most certainly did love this game. And as always, until next time.